Welcome to Pretty Practical Podcast with your host, Stephanie B. We're talking kingdom transformation through practical revelation.
Transforming lives everywhere through revelation and power of prayer. Solving problems day by day, and we do it the kingdom way.
Welcome to Season 2 of Pretty Practical Podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie B. And on this episode, we're talking kingdom transformation through practical revelation. It's hard to believe we've entered the second quarter of 2023. Time flies when you're walking in purpose. This year, I turned 40. I'm officially grown for real. The evolution of me is something to behold. In my younger days, I lived as if tomorrow was promised. Wisdom has taught me to live each day with intentionality and purpose, knowing I'm clothed with strength and dignity, laughing without fear of the future, building not just for me, but the generation that will follow. As I reflect on my past, it's evident that everything that transpired along my journey, the bad and great, is only because I was being considered. Considered means having been thought about carefully. Congratulations, you've been selected. Have you ever been selected for something you absolutely did not apply for? I could end this episode right here because that sums up my life story. Some of you may know I was in the military for a few years. Grateful, but that chapter has closed. One thing I was told before going into basic training was to never volunteer. I left home for the military prepared to not volunteer for anything. My hands were going to remain down, okay? However, my plans were thrown out the day I arrived to basic training. After one of the instructors asked everyone who knows how to play an instrument to raise their hand. Quickly, she began to move those with experience to the opposite side of the room. Clearly, she didn't meet her quota, because after pacing back and forth while scanning the room, she locked eyes with me, and at that moment, I could feel her eyes piercing my soul as she uttered, "You've been selected. Go stand with the band." My armpits immediately began to drench with sweat because wait a minute, I do not play an instrument. Those who really know me know I was not blessed with rhythm in general, but too afraid to ask any questions, I accepted my fate. Your girl officially made the band. No experience, but still considered. One thing about God is He will consider you qualified before the experience or environment is able to qualify you. Sometimes your pathway isn't the way you would have chosen for things to go. However, God isn't concerned about what you see. He desires to upgrade our vision so we see ourselves how He sees us. Being selected is great, but let's be real. The experience to become qualified can feel painful. There were times when I was selected to stand alone, just me and God. I'm not talking about a few days or weeks, I mean years of being overlooked and hidden. But it was only because I was being considered. My character was being developed, my faith and my trust was being equipped for the journey ahead. It's possible that the mission you must complete requires you to not just walk as the average person, but you've been chosen to rule and reign. Everyone won't understand your journey, but trust me, at the right time and moment, you will understand that everything you went through is because you were being considered for greater. Greatness isn't developed overnight, but over time. May I encourage you today? Mediocre isn't in your DNA. Sometimes we just need to wipe our tears and rejoice. My prayer for you today is you will see the beauty in being considered. While it may be difficult, you've been chosen to slay every giant in your life. Congratulations, you've been considered. You can't get there if you quit. I'm rooting for you.
Thank you for tuning in to Pretty Practical Podcast with your host, Stephanie B. Be sure to catch us again and be transformed through practical revelation, the kingdom way.
Transforming lives everywhere through revelation and power of prayer. Solving problems way.